story a few days ago where someone was supposed to inherit a share of her father's £250,000 estate. 4 years on, hasn't received a penny. I'm Nino Kafara, I'm a solicitor, and I'm going to talk to you about the kind of story that happens more often than you might think. And her father died without a will, which meant that nobody was officially appointed to deal with his estate. And in cases like this, the law specifies who can apply and in what order. So, for example, if the man was married, his wife could apply. If he wasn't, say he was divorced or widowed, his children could apply. So she wanted to, as his daughter, she could have applied to the court for a grant, dealt with the estate and divided the assets between her and her siblings. But she didn't. Instead, her brother applied. And it seems he had a rather curious way of dealing with things, meaning, and this happens often, he decided to keep all the money for himself. Now the usual ding-dong ensues and she tries to communicate with her brother, who of course ignored her. Now disputes like this happen all the time, and assets are often then wasted on unnecessary legal fees, which can run into tens of thousands of pounds. And she thinks, she said, she'll likely win if she took her brother to court, saying that he failed to carry out his duties as an administrator of the estate, i.e. he's up to no good. But of course, she can't afford the legal fees. When she called the court, they couldn't help because they can't offer legal advice. Now, what the court did tell her was to apply for an inventory and full account of the estate. And that's where a beneficiary isn't happy with an executor's transparency. They apply for details of the estate. And the executor then has an obligation to provide all that information so that the beneficiaries can be sure that they're going to receive the correct sum. She did that. But it took a year for the court to send the request to her brother. And when the document did finally arrive from him, she said, and I quote, it looked like a Mickey Mouse document. And I presume from that she meant he hadn't done his job properly. And she said that that proved her brother wasn't fit to be an executor. And that might be the case, but the court can't do anything about that. She'd still have to take legal action against him. So here she is, a year on and no further forward. Now, the courts are notoriously slow anyway. Unless you're a legal professional or you deal with the courts all the time, you just wouldn't know. Now, I get that people want to save money, and it might also seem a good idea at the time to deal with things yourself. But has she just asked a solicitor to act for her, she might have saved herself a lot of time and certainly a lot of grief, and possibly been a lot further forward. Just on that point, had her father just spent a few pounds and made a will, unlikely any of this would have happened. So if you think you're too young, too healthy to make a will, you're missing the point entirely. When you make a will, it's not about you. It's what you leave behind. And without one, you might just leave a bit of a mess. Now, if you found that useful, hit the thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button below for more exciting videos on dead stuff.